What's up, people? It's Jonathan Lacey, and I'm back with another episode of the Laced Up Podcast. Today, I'm joined with one of my best friends. This guy right here, him and I, we go back to fourth grade, and really ever since then, him and I have been like brothers. And for the people out there that don't know who I'm talking about Matt Hunter right now. So Matt, um, so I know, obviously you and I, we we were together back in like with Hill City Crash when Hill City Crash was doing tournaments at the Y, like the very
Yeah.
stuff. Um, so now like kind of for the people out there that might not know about Crash, do you mind just telling them, like what is Hill City Crash all about?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on first, man. Super, love to kick it with you. So Hill City Crash, we're a sports ministry based out of Lynchburg, Virginia, that really aims to use basketball as a vehicle for holistic development in the lives of our student athletes that's driven by the gospel of Jesus Christ. Obviously the gospel is, the foundation of everything that we do. And really we aim to use purpose-driven sport as a vehicle to holistically develop our guys both on and off the court. Obviously we want to run a quality basketball program, but we don't want our guys to be consumed by sport. I think in the sports world, it's such a huge issue that guys really don't have a sense of purpose outside of their athletic performance. Our goal is really to negate that and get them to see that they have value and worth, and get them to see that their purpose has already been defined by the gospel, and kind of bridge the gap between that and athletics and really develop them in a holistic way through the gospel in both basketball and off the court. So
Right. And so like kind of to kind of piggyback off of that, you know, give you guys like a little insight. So back in I want to say it was 2013 is when Hill City Crash really started, and it started through Tyler Cash, and he had this big vision. I remember he came. I think it was him, Dan Adams, Matt, and me. Like so, like we all of us we would get really just all of us would get in one van, and we would just drive up to to Bedford, the Bedford County Y, and we would just really play tournaments there. But then second year is that's when we started going to like to Roanoke, right, for more tournaments.
yeah, I think we did a little bit of both in that first year, but really that first year, we started off with just one group of 12 guys. Tyler had started coaching mainly
Hmm.
at badges to basketball downtown with the Lynchburg Police Department, and had really started to develop some good relationships with those guys, and really got a spark then to kind of see how we could utilize sports as kind of a vehicle for gospel relationships and gospel conversations. And through that, it was a pretty short season. It was just sort of like a rec league, but wanted to really cultivate on the seeds that have already been planted and really continue to develop and hopefully harvest those seeds. And that's how we ended up starting Crash. Really just kept those guys busy throughout the summer,
Yeah.
so they'd stay off the streets and stay out of trouble. And like you said, went to Roanoke, went to Bedford, did some local backyard classics,
Yeah.
and nothing crazy. But through that, God's really been faithful at growing us and helping us figure out the nuances and really legitimate. I guess that's where legitimizing our our platform, and has really blessed us with a lot of fruit on the basketball side of things and off the court. So
Yeah, like it kind of what he was saying, with the tournaments, like guys, we went from playing in tournaments like the Bedford County, like the backyard backyard tournaments, and then we went all the way to like having big shot tournaments now, which is for the people out there that don't know, the big shot circuit is you have players like Victor Oladipo, Montrezl Harrell, Grayson Allen, like all of these players have played, and I think Matt McClung, like he's played in all of these tournaments, and So like it's legit now where you're playing against top-notch talent from all around the world. And it's incredible just to see how Hill City Crash has really grown over the years. And really that's all God just putting in the right pieces.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's just really cool to see because I remember, I think it was like 2 years ago. I think who was it Kenneth when he took a picture with Montrez.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, like that's, and it's cool. Like you literally have NBA players that come back just to even see
Yeah.
what the new talent that's out there now. So that should tell you
That's a lot
something,
of fun.
right? For sure. Um, so like so now with the 2021 season about to kick off, I know you guys just had tryouts last week. So how did all of that go last week for you guys?
Yeah. So, like you said, we're about to kick off our eighth season now. We've been powered by Big Shots program for 3 years now. This will be our fourth. Really playing exclusively on their platform, and really ensures. Mally, what's up, man? Come here. Got some cats right here, man. Look at
Uh-oh.
this. Special guest appearance. What's up, Mally?
What's good,
What you
man?
got to say to the people?
Nothing.
Not much. Okay. Kev, what's up, man?
I gotta tell you how I hit the buzzer beater on Sim yesterday.
Oh, y'all won the game?
Nah,
Y'all lost.
they hit the buzzer beater with 2 seconds.
Sim hit a buzzer beater?
No, it's the other two people.
Y'all played alright, though.
Yeah, we only lost by 30.
How many did Sim drop?
Like, yeah, good 18 or something.
18.
18.
I had like 15.
You had 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, he won't even come to our workouts, Mr. Mason.
Come on, bro. What you doing?
He came one time, and you know what he told me? Oh, I got heartburn, coach. I ain't gonna be able to do this anymore.
Hey, seriously, though, you need to come.
I told
He's
him.
been coming, bro.
He's been coming every week, man.
Come on, man.
Kev, you better be there next week.
Come on, for real. Come, like, seriously, I need you playing right now. Come on.
I need you.
For real.
Yep.
But, so, alright, it's 42-48.
Y'all lost by 6.
Nah, Lucas hit the 3.
Lucas hit it. Man, it's
Now-
all that
now-
shooting work we did yesterday.
Now it's 45-48, right?
Yeah.
He missed a lot of shots, 5 seconds from the club. It seemed like he was struggling behind him.
You did.
Hit that though.
It was a
2
3.
seconds, yes. 2 seconds left on the clock. 48-48.
We got that jumper right
Emery
yesterday.
got the ball down here, threw it in the dude. He near half court, shoot it. Switch. Hit that.
Sim did it.
No.
Or the other dude did it.
Yeah. And we lost by 30.
That was a good game. You said y'all were gonna get smacked. How'd Randall do?
Henry got that.
What my man Randall do? He didn't do much.
Hit a couple of them.
Randall won't hit no much yesterday. That's all right. All right, y'all get to class, man. Be good. Guest appearance.
Yeah, I would say, look,
But
yeah, I would say, but that just shows you too, though. Like, for people out there that don't know, like Matt, he coaches too for the I'm not sure. Like, did you coach this year with Sandusky?
yeah.
Yeah. So like, he's actively involved in like in really like for the urban side of Lynchburg, just being really involved with the kids there. And obviously, as you can see, like the kids, he impacts lives, right? Like, and that's just the fact of the game of basketball is just there. It's a tool to really kind of guide. So yeah, but no, so yeah.
What was your question? 2021?
No, yeah, so 2021 tryouts.
Gotcha.
Like so yeah.
So yeah, we like John said, we had our tryouts this weekend, going on our 4th year being a Powered by Big Shots program. We've been blessed to be able to build a platform and build a culture that really attracts a lot of guys from our region. We have, a multitude of guys travel in from an hour, 2 hour radius, just to be a part of our program. In our tryouts, we had right around 80 guys trying out for our 3 teams that we're going to do this year. High school guys, high school boys is really our niche. It's really where we try to make our impact. Right around 80 guys came out. Rosters are set. We'll kick off practices next week and set to hit our first tournament at the end of this month. So super exciting stuff. We're doing just 9 Big Shot Circuit tournaments this year. Scale back a little bit just for COVID stuff and to stay safe. But man, we're gearing up. We got a lot of talent. Looking forward to a really, really great year.
So so with that being said, I know so a couple of my the boys that that I remember really working with when I was still coaching there. Um I know so Jaden, I'm not sure like is Jaden I'm sure I know he's getting looks at for college right now because I think
Yeah, so
yeah.
yeah, Jaden, he took some time off, and ended up, doing some other stuff last summer, which is
Hmm.
fine. It was great for him. He's looking at a couple different options right now. Probably, I don't want to give too much because I don't want to spoil
Yeah,
his
right,
his
no.
shine. But yeah, he's doing really well. He'll play somewhere next year, and bright kid, bright future ahead for
Yeah,
him. So
that kid is he's definitely he's special and for the people I want to use this opportunity to for the people that don't know about Jaden. So his youngest brother Knox, he he's been battling I want like he's been battling cancer for a little bit now and his family, Buck and Jesse, like great people, great family, great kids. And I also want to say, for them, for Knox, they have kind of a like a oh man, I don't want to use like a charity, like, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But it's like
it's like
like a
an
donation.
awareness campaign.
Yeah, like an awareness campaign going on for him, and you guys can give to them. You can help them by buying like t-shirts or anything to help support Knox along this journey. So yeah, if you guys want to look them up, just I think it was Knox Strong, I believe.
Knox cancer.
Knox Cancer. Yeah, Knox Cancer. So
Yeah.
so yeah, guys, definitely check them out and it's a great cause to support. But yeah, so obviously I know with you being involved in coaching and everything else. Like for me, I know the answer to this question, but for the other
Um,
people out there that may not know, what attracted Matt Hunter to get involved in coaching basketball and just really having that love for basketball in general.
yeah, that's a good question. For me, growing up, you and me both, we we both loved sports, right?
Yeah.
So it was if we weren't chilling or getting into trouble, it was man, we're grinding, hitting hard, playing sports. So, for me, growing up in a stricter, more fundy Christian environment and really having, being able to see, Christian ministry lived out and exemplified by my parents in
Hmm.
children's ministry and other great people that have influenced me in that aspect of things. And then also kind of having this passion for sports and a love for sports. I never was really able to, growing up, figure out how the two could be, utilized for the advancement of the gospel together, right? No one ever taught me how to use the platform of sports for gospel ministry. And it led to a lot of, it was always one or the other. They were always butting
Yeah.
heads for me in my adolescence. It was either, I got to be an athlete or I got to be a Christ follower. I got to be an athlete or I got to pursue ministry. And it's I could never pursue sports with a good conscience because I always felt like I was compromising my walk with Christ, my faith, and my call to ministry at the same time. So ultimately going into high school, ended up just saying screw it all, left all that on the back burner, my faith and my call to ministry, and really, really, really hit it hard, chasing scholarships, trying to play at the next level, get the heck out of Lynchburg, get away from Liberty, um, and at the same time had a series of nagging injuries that uh, just kept getting re-aggravated, was never really healed, and going into my senior year, hit a spot where I was just at a point where I couldn't healthily play anymore, and ended up leaving some college options on the table, and at the same time, my cousin Tyler, who you talked about earlier, um, had a different story than me. Had gotten in a lot of trouble, was running for a long time, and had finally met Christ face to face for the first time, and had started helping him with some of that badges to basketball stuff. Obviously, you and I both helping in Upward Sports that we grew up in at Thomas Terrace was, being able to see the sports ministry aspect of things there,
Right.
and being able to kind of help Tyler and come alongside him with badges for basketball. He came to me with the idea of Hill City Crash, and I've been coaching since I've been in ninth grade. So I
Yeah.
graduated from the Upward program and immediately was put to work. And obviously it's Upward basketball, so it's it is what it is. But really getting my feet wet there and being able just to coach in a purpose-driven environment and kind of see the way that obviously with Upward it's a little different because it's so structured. I think a lot of the times some of the authentic engagement stuff and bold gospel proclamation stuff, unless you're super intentional at doing it, it's easy just to have a Christian label and get by with it. But
Right.
I'm not saying Upward was great. I'm not knocking Upward, but for me as a high schooler, I don't think that the depth of where I'm at now was there. But
Mm.
really scratching the surface and getting my feet wet with it. Really sparked a passion for me. I love the game of basketball, and um, I love the grind of sports. I love starting with something and really seeing that something be cultivated into something that's bigger than what it started with and what it could even imagine being at the beginning. And then you match gospel truth with that, and you see the way that the gospel radically transforms our hearts and our lives. Uh, you put the two together, and it's really special. And it's something that honestly I see myself doing for I don't feel like, I don't want my identity to ever be a basketball coach, right? I
Hmm.
don't want to just I want to be a Christ follower that coaches basketball, right? I don't,
Right.
however long God has me in this lane, I'm going to be faithful to um, advancing His gospel through it until He calls me elsewhere. So, I'm going to strive to be the best basketball coach I can be so that I can advance the gospel well. But unless those priorities are in line, it's meaningless for me. But that kind of got me into coaching with Upward and with Tyler at Badges for Basketball. My first couple years of Crash, I helped out. We just had, we went from that one team. I was an assistant with those guys, and then next year we grew and did 3 or 4 teams. I was an assistant again to start the year with varsity and JV, and then we had enough kids come out for a sixth grade team, and we were like, man, we don't want to cut all this talent. And Pat Yates and Tyler came up to me and was like, "Hey, you're the sixth grade head coach. Congrats!" And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
My senior year of
Yeah.
high school. It's when I got my first, official head coaching gig. I would say, had no idea what I was doing, um, and then really just was thrown into the fire and had to figure it out for myself. Um, Been coaching ever since. So
Yeah. That's literally how it went though. Like I remember that
yeah,
day because the tryouts. I remember they came up to you and you came over to me and was like, so apparently I'm the head coach now. And yeah, like and I remember like you asked me to be the assistant and I said, no, let's do this thing. And really, I remember our first tournament together when we had to go against that team from West Virginia. And that was the most intense championship game I've ever seen in my life. But I will say this, so in the years that at least like and I'm sure this is for any of the coaches too that have all of the coaches that have coached the Hill City Crash, there has been most of them have had special teams, like if not all. um at least I know like for that sixth grade team we only had 6 guys, people, like we only had 6 guys on that team, and
no,
we had to be smart about how we were going to use that one person to sub, and had to figure out how to come up with a method of not having our players gas out. But I will say though that it was awesome though. Like though it kind of you kind of got thrown out there into the fire. I think like just to see kind of like where you are now, you know, it's like 6 years later, it's something completely different, and it's for the better, I believe. And like
for sure.
sure you've had now you've coached players from overseas now, which is crazy to even think about now. But
Yeah.
like yeah, it's I think like this it kind of goes all back to just having God really just put it in the right pieces. And
Yeah.
like and Dallas too, like Dallas coming aboard. Dallas is awesome,
Sure.
awesome assistant.
Yeah.
Um, we that's what I'm saying. Like I and all the people like the Ryan Portnoys, the Jeremy Andersons, the you know, like we've had all these people come through and they've impacted they definitely impacted players' lives and
Most definitely.
yeah, like I want to give them credit too though for what
Yeah.
all the
There's been
work
a
that
lot
they've
of
done.
people. Yeah. There's been. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find. There's a. We meet with our guys, our coaching staff. Bi-weekly, probably 2 times a month, and just do a
Hmm.
lot of cultural training, really figuring out, okay, how do we make sure that we're staying gospel centered? How do we, better boldly proclaim gospel truth to our guys? How do we better engage our guys so that we can boldly proclaim gospel truth? Just a lot of that stuff. And, as you were talking, it hit me from our last meeting. It was a really good, we were doing some cultural stuff. I'll find it in a minute. But um, what were you were asking? What? Oh, the people. Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of people that have been, you know, pivotal. There's been guys that have came and gone, and there's been guys that have helped in an official role, and then have stepped away, and just because family and life, it's a huge commitment. Practicing twice a week for
For
2.5 hours
sure.
at a time, and then traveling all weekend long, 4 or 5 hours away, and being gone all weekend, and then coming back and doing it all again for 6 months out of the year. It's a huge commitment, and like you said, you gave some names. I'm not going to give any names because I'm going to miss somebody and I'm going to hurt feelings. But um, there's been lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people. Like you said, Dallas and Brandon with
Yep.
me. Been with me since really since day one, or
Hmm.
you were there day one, and then you had to step away. But uh, yeah, I mean those guys have been huge. I don't yeah, just we wouldn't be where we're at without the people that have bought into our mission and have
Absolutely.
really lived out that mission and lived out their faith and used the platform that we built. That's what it's all about. So it's been great.
Yeah, like and it's just and it's just funny though, man, because I remember like going from like when we had to have practices at the church.
Yeah,
And and then I remember, we went to the downtown the armory and
yeah,
now like I know you guys were at where you guys were at oh man, what's the church's name? From last year because when I came back down in September to
yeah.
see you
So
guys.
last year we practiced there because the armory, our home space, really has been
Yeah.
shut down because of COVID. So we just found it was family life off of Timberlake. We practiced there. They were willing to open up their spot, so
Right.
super thankful for that. But we'll be back at the Armory this year.
Yeah, like guys, it's and Matt, like while you're I don't know if you're still finding that or not, but
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. If I
like
can,
yeah,
it's not a big deal.
I just want to tell people too though that if you guys you hear what Hill City Crash is all about. If you guys are interested in wondering how you can help with Hill City Crash, Matt, like where can people go to help, like just donate
Yeah,
to a good cause.
yeah. So our we have a website, hillcitycrash.org. It's under construction currently, so it's a little outdated, but it's fine. The main details are there. We're working on some new stuff and getting it up to date. But there's a giving tab on there, on our Facebook page. It's kind of our central information hub. So if you want to reach out, you want to help out, you want to give, however you feel led. Main thing is prayer, right? So we want people to resonate with our mission, come alongside our mission, and support us through that, right? And um, you know, prayer is the main thing we need. Like I said, it's a grind. It's a huge responsibility, and it's not easy. We're always looking for church supporters that can come alongside our guys and our goal is we're sport ministry, but we don't want to be the local church for our guys, right? We don't
Mhm.
want just Hill City Crash to be the sphere of their spiritual influence. Obviously, we want to expose them to gospel truth. If they already know gospel truth, we want to help to disciple them in that gospel truth. But apart from the local church, it's meaningless, right? So we want to, we're always looking for church partners to get those guys plugged back into the local church, and church partners that can support us financially, church partners that can support us with the resources. We're always looking for vans, and as you know, we're still in Black Beauty.
Oh yeah.
She's still
Oh
kicking
yeah. Yeah,
strong,
she's a beast, man.
but she's a beast, but she's
She's
been struggling. So,
oof.
we're always in need of transportation. A lot of our guys, we're traveling 4, 5, 6 hours away sometimes. A lot of our guys just don't have the family support or the means to travel, so we supply travel for them. It stinks having to make our coaches drive and transport 5, 6 guys in their car. So we're always looking for vans to use. We're looking for space to use. There's lots of ways to get involved. If you want to volunteer, help coach, you do that as well. My info's out there. You can reach out to me, and we'll find a way to get you plugged in. So
Yeah. So like, yeah, guys, make sure go on the Facebook and make sure that you like the Hill City Crash page, and if you guys feel called to to give, or like really just like pray, as Matt was saying, because the grind of like just the season for the people out there, you might not think like only 2 days practicing 2 days a week, and then maybe like like going traveling 4 to 5 hours away. To you that might not seem like a lot, but if you factor in like the time away, especially away from like from your family, because I know Matt, you have a beautiful baby girl now, and and your wife Madison, and like being away from
yeah,
her, I'm sure that's tough, like on them. So
it is.
yeah, guys, definitely like
And let
like
me give some perspective. So
yeah, let's go, yeah,
for
go
our
ahead.
tournaments, okay. So the dreaded thing in AAU basketball is the 8 o'clock game, right?
Facts.
Luckily,
Facts.
luckily we've gotten some love from Kevin and my guys at Big Shot, and they've helped us out a lot. And they're super accommodating. But sometimes it is what it is, and we'll have to play an 8 o'clock game. So it means we tip at 8. So we got to be at the gym by 7:15 for check-in. Some tournaments, like for instance, we had one in Rock Hill, South Carolina. So it was a good 4 hour drive, 8 a.m. game. We had to leave Lynchburg at 4 in the morning, right? So we meet at Sheets. We'll pack the van 4 in the morning, and we drive. We play at 8 a.m. We'll play again at probably 1 or 2, and then we'll be done for the day. We'll go to the hotel. We'll get dinner. We'll hang out as a team. We'll kind of do our team devotional stuff. We'll go to sleep. We'll wake up. We'll play again in the morning, and we'll play at least 1 or 2 more games the next day. Then we come home, right? Depending on the next day, you might play a game at 10 a.m. Then you don't play again until 4 or 5 o'clock that night,
Yeah.
right? So then we play at 5. You get done at 6:37 ish. Then you drive home 4 hours. So it's a lot, but it's super. Just being on the road, being with the guys, and being able to generate conversation and spend time with those guys, and um, it's super fruitful time. But like you said, it is a grind.
Yeah, it's and like that's just like a snippet of what it's like
Yeah,
until you like actually experience it. Yeah, it's definitely a grind. So yeah, definitely like be praying for Matt and everybody else involved with Hill City Crash, the players, coaches, even like really the parents as well, because I know like it's tough on everyone. So yeah, like you feel like you want to be called, you feel like you're called to give, definitely go over to Hill City Crash page on Facebook, and Matt. So I know like very shortly here you're probably gonna have to head off, but is
okay,
there
we're good.
okay, well is there is there anything that that you feel that like you have a message like for the people out there, or any anything that you want to say, like for no, even for Hill City Crash, like it's been fun them.
Man, the thing I was going to tell you earlier, it was, we've been studying some coaches and stuff, and we were looking at um, the GOAT, Gino Ariema,
Yeah,
UConn women's basketball, the dynasty. But, he was talking, we just kind of dissected one of his interviews, and, from that really pulled, kind of, you listen to coach speak and you can hear what they value, right? Um, what we say and what we do always reveals our intentions and our priorities. So,
yeah,
with him, we were watching some of his stuff and pulled, obviously, if you know anything about UConn women's basketball, culture is everything
yes,
with them, right? Coach Ariema is huge on culture, but he's also huge on talent, right? And he kind of gave this formula. It's not even necessarily something that he verbalizes as a formula, at least to my knowledge, but it was, just listening to him and hearing him speak, uh, pulling, consistent factors. Okay, you can kind of put two and two together and figure it out. And this is what I was trying to find earlier, and I don't even remember why or what you said that made me think of it, but I don't know. It was talking about our growth, right?
mm,
Obviously, we don't, we numbers isn't our priority, growth isn't our priority, success isn't our priority. We define success as the fruit of faithfulness, right? So we want to be faithful to the gospel message. We want to be faithful to actually ministering to our guys, and we trust God to handle the rest, right? As long as we're faithful to that, whatever God plans to do with Hill City Cross, we're cool with. Whether that's one team playing in local backyard classics, whether it's whatever, whatever He has in store, we're cool. So, just thinking about that and just the two and two went together, but it was essentially, pulling from what Gino was talking about. It was um, culture attracts talent, right? So if you build a platform, people will come. If you do things well, people will come. And then talent drives culture, right? So talent actually puts that culture into place and makes some fruit out of it. And communal accountability brings it all together. So everybody on the same page, holding each other accountable to that culture and being the best that they can be for that culture makes that culture successful, right?
right,
So culture in and of itself without talent is meaningless, and talent in and of itself without culture is meaningless. And a lot of people like to try to define their culture by their talent, right? So they deviate their standards based on their best player. They deviate their standards based upon, whatever. They allow their talent to define culture. And with us, one thing that we've tried to do, our culture is gospel centered culture, right? We want to stay faithful and consistent in that gospel. Like I just explained and kind of talked through, that's got to be the driving force behind everything that we do. Our mission of, developing complete players and complete men that's driven by the gospel of Christ. If you take away the gospel of Christ, we can develop the best basketball players in the world, but it's meaningless, right? Obviously,
right,
we want to develop the best basketball players, but we want to do that through the lens of, okay, here's your purpose, here's gospel truth, and everything else kind of filters as a result of it. So it was really good, and that kind of just made me thinking about that. So
so I honestly, I'm a, I'm gonna end it right there with that, because I think that right there just says it all. Because at the end of the day, you can have the numbers, you can have all the accolades, like you can have everything that may be appealing to the eye, but if you're developing a culture of fear, um like really, like if you're I've seen this firsthand, where a player has been afraid to go up to a coach and say something that needs to be said,
um,
that should be said, but they're too afraid to say anything, because the coach has the mind of, it's either my way or the highway, and he drives fear
yeah,
and anxiety into all of his players. Like, take I don't want to throw him under the bus, but take like Rutgers, like their old basketball coach.
yeah.
That I remember, like those players literally feared him and they dreaded going to practice.
Yeah, and I think obviously there's got to be accountability. There's got to be a standard, and there's if you don't meet the standard, conversations are going to have to be had.
Right.
Uh, but On the flip side of that, in order to have those conversations in a fruitful way, you have to have relationships with your guys.
Absolutely. Right.
But I'll say this too: with those relationships, you have to have boundaries, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I I want to have a personal relationship with every kid that I coach, but they have to view me as more than just another friend. There has to be a sense of authority there. But on the flip side of that, I view to be the authority of every kid that I coach, but they also have to see me as a friend because that authority is rooted in love because I'm pushing them to be the best they can be.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So there's a fine line to be balanced, and if you miss one or the other, it's no bueno. For us, kind of our model to do that, we two things that we really hang our hats on is we always want to authentically engage our guys, right? So you look at John 4 and Jesus's example with the woman at the well. It's kind of the epitome of how we aim to engage and boldly proclaim gospel truth to our guys. I'm not going to get preachy with you and preach John 4 right now, but we want to authentically engage our guys just as Christ did with the woman at the well. We want to boldly proclaim gospel truth because of our authentic engagement with the woman at the well. We want to engage to proclaim, and if we're not proclaiming, then our engagement is lacking of substance, right? And if we're not engaging and we're just proclaiming with no engagement, then our proclamation is lacking substance, right? So we want to build relationships with our guys so that we can proclaim gospel truth to them, but we can't miss gospel truth, right? So, yeah.
Right. As I'm saying, like just putting the actions behind those words, but doing it in a manner of, like, hey, this is still like just like talking basketball terms, like I am the coach, but I am more than a coach. And you don't want to come you want to come at a place of where the players they respect you, but they're also going to view you as their friend, mentor, and but like just more than a coach. Like you're more than that. And honestly, as you saw like firsthand, like earlier in the episode, like you had one of your players come in, and like he was just just chit chatting with you for a little bit.
Yeah, man.
So
And I think it goes back to, I forgot who said this, but I saw it this week. And, it's not like it's a groundbreaking thing, it's tried and true formula, but, you can always tell, and sometimes this is a harsh reality check. And obviously, every single coach is going to have kids that just, it's not going to fit. And you just can't save them. Like, it's okay. But, you can tell kind of a barometer of how well you're doing with that based on, after kids come and leave your program and you have nothing left to give them, how engaged they are with you, right? Do they come around your program? Do they talk to you? Do they,
mhm,
stuff like that? And, sometimes it hurts, it's a harsh reality check sometimes because it's like, ooh, it's not going very well. It's okay. Not every kid's going to do that. But, it's true. I try to, you know, it feels good as a coach to have a kid that graduated 2 years ago or have a kid that's moved on and they're checking in on you. They're asking how the team's doing. They're asking about certain kids. They're coming to hang out at practices. They're getting plugged in other ways. But
right. So I'm saying like you just like the impact that a lot of
yeah,
coaches have. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like you just when a player leaves, obviously your main goal is like you want to do as much as you can for that kid, but obviously it's a two-way street, and they have to accept that for themselves. But
yeah, and I'll say this too. You know, I think a lot of coaches have way too much pride, right? Like it's easy to do. Like so many coaches and people are out there to build a platform for themselves and to get their name out there and to stockpile talent just for the sake of boasting in their own successes because of the talent that got them there. And there's no purpose-driven coaching. There's no personal relationships being built. It's just take, and then when they have nothing left to give, throw them to the wayside.
Right.
Obviously performance will always be an aspect of sports, and it's the name of the game. It is what it is. But we have to be careful as coaches not to allow a kid's value to us be defined by their performance,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And I say that obviously, playing time is indicative out of performance, right? And I say performance loosely, obviously what they can give on the court, what they can give off the court. I'm bundling all that up into performance, but the way that we treat kids, right? If, for instance, and I'm not saying this to boast or anything, but if you have a platform and you have a kid seeking help from you from your platform, if you don't help them, that tells me everything I need to know about you.
Yep.
If a kid reaches out to me and they want help and I want to try everything I can do to help them as best as I can, as much as I can. Obviously, my priority has to be my team. But if there's anything I can ever do to help a kid, I'm going to try in my best power to do it.
Right.
And I think that's the attitude we have to say. Too many guys are, oh, he's not my kid. He's not my kid. I'm not worried about him. He's not talented enough to play with me. Yada yada yada. Whatever. Fill in the blank. No, man. Coaching. Our focus has got to be on the kids. We got to be focused on helping kids. So
Yeah. And to kind of excuse me, to kind of give people, like there's really a good example of that. Um, you know, hey, hey, I don't, I'm not gonna bring up the name, but for the people that watched the first two seasons of Last Chance U for football, um, you know, the in particular coach, he it was unfortunate because you can see like he had lots of talent that come through that school, lots of talent, like to the point where these dudes were putting up 90 points a game, like type of talent. And a lot of those players that left that school, they they did not have good things to say about that coach. Because I remember the second
yeah,
season, they they interviewed Ronald Ali, who was like he was a big popular person on that first season, and they asked him how he felt about the coach. And I'm not gonna repeat the words that he says, but let's just say like it wasn't anything kind. And they asked other coaches, and now they asked other players, and they didn't have anything nice to say.
yeah,
So you know, kind of because it kind of goes back what you were saying though. The pride. If you're just viewing a kid for just what you see, you taking them as they are as an athlete, and you don't see them as more than that, then that's when I don't know. Like it's going to show. It's going to show, and in whether it's off the field or on the field, and
yeah,
in basketball, on the court, off the court, like you will see whether or not like you're actually impacting the lives because
for sure.
it's just unfortunate how some things happen. But to kind of end on a better note though, you do like I've seen you, seen Tyler, Brandon, Dallas, like I saying all these people that have come through, like the Ron Portnoy's, all these guys that have coached through the Hill City Crash. I've seen them impact these kids' lives, and you know, I've had opportunities to be in a couple kids' lives as well. Like I remember plenty of times you and I would make a drive out like late at night to maybe go see a kid that may needed some help or whatever, because they might have been struggling at the time. But you know, without God, none of that is possible. And I definitely I want to say that Hill City Crash has definitely given me the opportunity though to impact kids' lives on the court and off the court. And yeah, I just want to say like, Tyler, thank you, like for starting Hill City Crash. And I appreciate that. And like I think like Matt, it's cool to see that, like with you taking over and how things are going, like in the team that's building there. Um, yeah, it's just really cool to see. So yeah, like I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do this season.
Man, praise God.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure,
So,
man. For sure. For sure. But yeah, for the people that are listening on Apple, make sure that you subscribe and stay up to date on episodes, and leave a review to kind of help me, help the podcast grow, and make sure you follow on Spotify. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. All right. So with all that said, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I love you guys. Peace.
peace. Give 'em the